Dear parents, teachers and students, Assalamu alaikum. I am Wasim Abbas, Manager Coordination from Askaria Education System. Hello Askarians, we are here once again for another lecture from the series of impressive lessons live from England. So we have our teacher with us, Miss Donna. She is a native British teacher. Miss Donna, you are the presenter, so hand it over to Miss Donna, please.
Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh, dear Askarians. Thank you for your patience today. My name is Donna and I will be your teacher for this session. Okay, we have a lesson today for you talking about the future, your future plans. Okay, so we can all dream about a holiday or a vacation. We've not been able to do that yet, or at least not for the last 12 months, have we? So what I want you to start thinking about now is what you are going to do on your next vacation. Okay? What are you going to do on your next vacation? I'm going to share my screen with you, and hopefully you can now see it. Okay, so hopefully you can see a picture of a girl on a paddleboard. Okay, hang on a moment. I just need to reset this a little bit, and I'm just going to reshare my screen. Okay, so you should see a picture of a girl on a paddleboard, as I said. And today we're going to learn talking about the future using the verb going to, okay, but also talk about our holidays. So have a look at the pictures that you have on your screen. Okay? Everyone loves to travel, don't we? So have a look at the pictures. We've got a picture of Greece, we've got a picture of Vietnam, and we have a picture of Myanmar. Have you ever visited any of those places? Would you like to go to them? Or where would you like to go if you could go anywhere? Why do people visit places like this? Why do they go? Is it because they like history? Do they want nice weather? Do they want to relax on a beach? People travel for lots of different reasons, don't they? And have a think, what do you like to do when you're on vacation? We've got some people here doing lots of different things on the screen. We've got someone jumping out of an aeroplane, so they're skydiving or they're parachute jumping. It's quite crazy. We've got some people playing on a beach, a group of friends or a family playing on the beach. We've got two people running. Do you exercise when you're on vacation? Do you like to play sports or do other activities? And the last one, people, they're taking a selfie, aren't they? How many selfies do you take when you're on holiday? Do you like to take lots of photos of the things that you see? These pictures are all pictures of people on vacation. But these people all have a particular type of interest. They like a particular type of vacation. And we call it adventure travel. What does adventure travel mean? What do you think it means? Adventure travel is a term that we use to talk about trips that are a little bit different to the normal vacation we may have. We may go into the mountains, we may climb a mountain, we may decide to camp in a very remote area far away from anywhere else. We may decide to do a desert safari. So things that take us away from our normal lives, and give us a little bit of extra excitement. So we have someone here, we've got someone cycling through what looks like a forest. We have someone taking photos in the mountains. And we have somebody with a board going into the water. So lots of different types of a holiday or vacation can be adventure travel. And sometimes people may do a mix of both. You may have some days where you relax or sightsee, and other days when you do something like climb a mountain or go for a long hike. So one of the things we're going to listen to today, we're going to listen to James. Okay, we can see James right in the middle of the screen, and James is going on vacation. Okay, so have a look at him and look at the pictures that go round him. We've got picture A is an aeroplane, and we've got a sign that says Heathrow. We've got a picture B is some kind of town or little street. C, we have bicycles. And D, what do we call that? D. Do you know the English word? It's a volcano. Volcano. So we're going to listen to James talk about his vacation. But what do you think he's going to do on vacation? What do you think he's going to tell us? Those pictures are all clues for you. Before we listen, we're going to have a little map. Okay, this is another clue for you of what James is going to do on holiday, on his vacation. And here we have a map of Sicily. Sicily, a beautiful island that belongs to Italy. Okay, this is part of Italy, if you don't know it. So it's in Europe. And you can see some of the place names around it. It's Italian. It's in Italian. So don't worry too much about the Italian names and the Italian words. So this is another clue. I think we know that James is going to go to Sicily, okay, on his vacation. Have a look at the map. Do you know? Can you read maps generally? But what do you think Sicily's like as a country? Does it have mountains? Is it very flat? What can we see on the map? We can see the brown hills, can't we? So I think we can say there's lots of mountains in Italy, in Sicily. And actually there is. You know, compared to other countries in Europe or other areas, Sicily is quite mountainous. It has quite a lot of mountains. And right on the here, this little triangle here, we have a Mount Etna, which is a volcano. It's the volcano. And just one more thing before we listen to James talk about what he's going to do on his vacation. Right at the top of the map here, we have Palermo. Palermo is the capital of Sicily. And right down here, we have another place called Siracusa. Siracusa. So you can see the distance between the two places. If you were cycling between those two places, if you were riding your bike between them, how long do you think it might take you? Are they very close together, these places, or are they a little bit far? The answer obviously depends on how quick you are as a cyclist and how fast you can cycle. But on average, it takes about a week to cycle from Palermo to Siracusa. Okay, 7 days. So that gives you an idea of the distance between the two places. Right, so our first listening activity. We have a few in this lesson. We're going to listen to James talk about his travel plans. And on the screen, you have 4 questions. How long is his vacation? Where does James live? How is James going to go to Italy? And which city is he going to visit first? So you're going to listen to the first part of this track and you're going to answer those questions. So you know what information you are listening for.
I'm really excited. I've planned a 2-week cycling vacation around Sicily. It's going to be incredible. I live in London, so I'm going to fly from London to Palermo next weekend. I'm going to stay overnight in Palermo. It's the largest city in Sicily, and it's surrounded by mountains.
So, very short for our first track. Did you get the information? Did you hear the answers? How long is his vacation? Well done if you said 2 weeks. His vacation is 2 weeks long. But where does James live? He lives in London. So tick if you got that right. How is James going to go to Italy? How is he going to travel there? Well, full marks if you said he's going to fly from London. And which city is he going to visit first? Well, he's going to visit Palermo first. He tells us he's going to fly there, it's his arrival place, and he's going to stay there overnight. So congratulations if you got 4 out of 4. So as we found out now, James is going to Palermo. Okay. And on the left of your screen, you've got 4 statements. And these are all different tenses, you know, past, present, future. Okay, those are the tenses, they're the main tenses that we know. And on the right, in the blue boxes, you've got 4 descriptions of those tenses. So what are the statements on the left? What are they telling us? What do they mean? Are they talking about James in the present, or are they talking about what James will do in the future? Have a read of them and try and match the statement to its description. I'll give you a few seconds to have a read through them. Talk to your group, talk to the people you're with. Can you work out the answers? Okay, let's have a look then. I've planned a 2-week cycling vacation around Sicily. Is that A, B, C or D? What description matches that first sentence? Well, the answer, well done if you said B. Okay, I've planned a 2-week cycling vacation around Sicily. This sentence describes a completed action, but it doesn't mention a specific time. Okay, so we know it's happened, it's already happened in the past, but we don't know when. It's not important. 2, I live in London. I live in London. So A, C or D. The answer to this one is D. Okay. This is talking about something that doesn't change. Okay? It's an ongoing situation. It doesn't change. James lives in London. Number 3, I'm going to fly from London to Palermo next weekend. A or C? Well, obviously it's A. He's talking about the future. Okay? And the I am going to fly is talking about a plan in the future. It's an intention. It's not a hope or a wish or anything like that. It's an actual plan. And number 4, it's the largest city in Sicily. That's obviously C. Okay, and that's just a general truth. Again, something that doesn't change. It's generally true. So it's talking about, it's the present tense, and we're using it in that context. So something that doesn't change. Okay, let's have a look at going to in a little bit more detail. Okay, we're going to listen to James again. Okay, we're going to listen to the next part of James's story. And we're going to listen for his plans. What is James going to do on his vacation? And we have 5 statements this time. I'm going to fly from London to Palermo next weekend. The following day, I'm going to head inland. From Palermo, I'm going to cycle to Kefaloon. D, I'm going to take a few breaks along the way. And E, I'm going to stay overnight in Palermo. So your job this time is to put those in order. The first one has been done for you. A is in B, and that is the thing that James is going to do first. He's going to fly to London. He's going to fly from London to Palermo. So that's number 1. But then what's number 2? What's number 3? What's number 4? And what's number 5? So you have to listen and decide the order, the correct order for his plan. Okay, let's listen and see how we get on.
I'm really excited. I've planned a 2-week cycling vacation around Sicily. It's going to be incredible. I live in London, so I'm going to fly from London to Palermo next weekend. I'm going to stay overnight in Palermo. It's the largest city in Sicily, and it's surrounded by mountains. My bike journey begins there. From Palermo, I'm going to cycle to Kefaloon. It will take about 3 hours to complete the 45-mile ride. The following day, I'm going to head inland. I plan to cycle to Ganji. It's only 32 miles from Kefaloon to Ganji, but there are many mountains. I'm going to take a few breaks along the way.
Wow, so lots of information there about James's plans for his vacation. So what's he going to do? We know he's going to fly to from London to Palermo first. Then what's he going to do? Did you get it? The answer number 2 is E. E. He's going to stay overnight in Palermo. And then what? After that, he's going to... Well done if you got C. Number 3 is C. From Palermo, is going to cycle to Kefaloon. And then what? What's number 4? Number 4 is B. The following day, he's going to head inland. And then obviously D is last. He's going to take a few breaks along the way. So we're getting a very good idea now of what James plans to do on his vacation. Going to. Okay. It's important for you to note and remember there are lots of different ways that we talk about the future in English. Yes, we've got will. We use will to talk about the future, the simple future, but there are lots of other ways that we use we use different tenses to talk about the future. And the example that we're really practicing today is the use of going to. Okay, going to plus the bare infinitive. And that is to talk about your plans. The things that you know you are going to do, or the things that you intend to do, because you already know, you've already made the plans. So we have, do you have plans this weekend? Yes, I'm going to watch the basketball game. Yeah, I bought tickets last week. Yeah, so I know I'm going to go and watch the game. Going to plus infinitive to talk about actual plans that you have made for the future. And here's just how you make it. Study the form. Have a look at the structure on the screen. The bare infinitive is the infinitive. It's the verb without the to in front of it. You know, the going to goes together. Okay. So it's the present tense of be plus going to plus the bare infinitive. So examples you have on screen: I am going to travel to Sicily. We are going to eat pizza tonight. And she is not going to attend her English class tomorrow. So you can see how we use it. Talk to the people you're with. Okay, talk to your group. Do you have plans for this weekend? What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Practice saying it. I'm going to what? I am going to go to the cinema. I am going to go shopping. What are you going to do? The things that you already know you're going to do this weekend. And here's just a look at the forms for you, how we make it, right? Both the positive and the negative. And as always, with English, there's a slight difference between the written and the spoken. Okay, when we speak, we contract a lot, don't we? We contract our words a lot that we don't do in writing, and certainly not in formal writing. So for I am going to travel becomes I'm going to travel. Okay? I am becomes I'm. You are going to fly, you're going to fly. She is going to come home, she's going to come home. It's really important when you're practicing your speaking and your pronunciation that you practice both. Okay? You practice saying the long form and you also practice saying the contracted form. And at the bottom of the screen, we've got the negative of it. And we can see it's quite simple. We put the not between the am and the going to, or between the are and the going to, and the is and going to. So I am not going to travel. I'm not going to travel. You are not going to fly. You're not going to fly. And she is not going to come home becomes she's not going to come home. It's important also for you to listen out for it, because James, when he's speaking to us, he does use the contracted form. So you can hear it when he speaks as well. Okay, we're moving on with James's holiday now. We're going to listen to more of the recording, and this time you have 5 statements on the screen, and you need to decide whether those statements are right or whether they're wrong. So we have James is going to meet his friend in Enna. Gennaro is going to continue the vacation with James. James is not going to stay overnight in Catania. They are going to ride up Mount Etna, and they are going to head south to visit Syracuse. Okay, so all of these things we are going to hear in the track, but are they true? Are these statements true or are they false? Listen very carefully.
The next day, I plan to meet my friend, Gennaro, in Enna. Gennaro is going to come with me for the rest of the journey. The weather will probably be excellent, so we're going to spend a long day riding from Enna to Catania. Catania is a beautiful Baroque town, so we're going to spend a couple of days there. You're probably wondering why I haven't mentioned Mount Etna, right? Well, we're definitely going to Mount Etna as well. However, we're not going to cycle up the mountain. Instead, we're going to leave the bikes in Catania for a few days, and we intend to join a tour group. We're going to climb up and down the mountain. Like I said, it's going to be incredible. After Mount Etna, we're going to head south along the coast to visit the historic town of Syracuse. Maybe you've heard of Syracuse. It's a very old city.
Okay, so again, we hear lots of information from James. Did you get all the answers? Which of those statements are right and which are wrong? So, number 1, James is going to meet his friend in Enna. Is that right or is it wrong? True or false? Well done if you said true. It is true. Number 2, Gennaro is going to continue the vacation with James. True or false? That's also true. James is not going to stay overnight in Catania. Is that true or false? Maybe a little trickier, this one. The answer is false. Why is it false? What does James say about staying in Catania? Did you pick it up? He said that they are going to spend a couple of days in Catania. So not overnight. He says a couple of days. Number 4, they are going to ride up Mount Etna. He talks about Mount Etna a lot, doesn't he, towards the end? The answer is false. What does he say about going up Mount Etna? He says they're going to climb up, but they're not going to ride their bicycles. They're not riding up the mountain. This is a volcano. Can you imagine how steep it is? So yeah, they're not going to ride up, but they are going to climb up. And number 5, they are going to head south to visit Syracuse. Yes, that's true. That was right at the end of the track. So yes, that's true. So well done if you got all of those answers correct. Give yourself a gold star. Okay, we're going to listen to someone else now talking about their holiday plans. And here we have another map. Okay, so at the top we can see we've got France, and then on the left, the bottom bit here, on the left bottom, is Spain. Okay, this is Spain. And this little squiggly line here that you can see is the border. It's the border between France and Spain, and it's where we find the Pyrenees Mountains, if you've heard of those. Yeah. So this is the border between France and Spain. Have a little look at the map. See what other places you can see on there. Have you heard of any of them? Have you been to any of them? Do you know anything about France or Spain or any of those places? So we're now going to listen to Ali. Ali's a girl and she's going to travel soon. And Ali is going to talk to us about her plans for her vacation. And on the screen, you can see 4 pictures. Have a look at them. They're different areas and they're all very different, aren't they? We've got Sète in France is A. What kind of city do you think Sète is? We can see boats there. It's obviously on the water. B, we've got a picture of a canal in southwest France. Lots of canals in this area of France. Do you have lots of canals in your country? Is it a place that people might visit when they're travelling around? C, you've got the Mediterranean Sea, so obviously somewhere on the coast. And D, we've got Barcelona in Spain, so a very famous city. That's lots of history, lots of sightseeing, lots of people go there. So already we're having an idea of what Ali is going to talk about. What do you think she's going to mention? What is she going to do on her vacation based on those pictures? Do you have any ideas? So this time, maybe a little bit easier. Okay, we're going to listen to the first part of Ali's plan for a holiday. And you have the text that we will hear. You've got it on your screen. But there are some gaps. You can see there are some gaps there. And your job is to fill in the gap with the words that you hear. And all of them are, each gap talks about her future plan. So listen for I'm going to. And then what does she say? Okay, so each one is I'm going to, but what? I'm going to what? So there are 3 things that we need to find. Okay, so you need to listen very carefully. So I'm going to play the track now. Have a look through the text. Follow the text as Ali is speaking and note down the words that she says. What is she going to do? Let's listen.
I love riding through Europe. There are always lots of little villages to visit along the way. This year, I'm going to ride from Sète in the southwest of France to Barcelona, Spain. I'm going to follow the Mediterranean coast for a day or 2 before heading inland. Maybe you know there's an old canal that connects to the Atlantic Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea. Well, now you can cycle along the canal. I'm going to spend 2 days cycling along the canal. It's nice and flat in this area, just a few hills.
Wow, there you go. So Ali does speak quite quickly, doesn't she? It's quite fast, that. So how did you get on? Okay. So the first one, she said, I love riding through Europe. There are always lots of little villages to visit along the way. This year, I am going to ride. I am going to ride from Sète. Oh, I'd see if I can put it on there. She says, I'm going to ride. I'm going to ride from Sète in the southwest of France to Barcelona. Then what's she going to do? What's she going to do next? I am going to what? The Mediterranean coast for a day or 2. What word did you hear? She says, I'm going to follow the Mediterranean coast for a day or two. So well done if you heard that. And the last one. I am going to what? 2 days cycling along the canal. Now you can cycle along the canal, she says. I'm going to what 2 days? Did you hear the verb? She says, I'm going to spend 2 days cycling along the canal. So, well done if you got all of those answers. We're going to listen now to the next part of Ali's plan for her vacation. And we've got some questions to answer. Okay, so we've got a multiple choice. There you have a choice of answers. So the first one, we have Carcassonne is a city. Okay. And is it surrounded by lakes? Is it a city with walls? Is it on a mountain? Is it surrounded by forest? So which one of those is it? Which is the correct answer? Okay. And all of them are the same. So number 2, a well-known food from Carcassonne is what? Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay. Number 3, Ali plans to cross the Pyrenees Mountains. How? Okay. A, B, C, or D? Quickly by train, at night, for example. Which is it? And number 4, what does Ali say about the town of Puigcerdá? What does she say about it? A, B, C, or D? Does it have a great cafe? Has it got nice hotels? Is it close to the border? Is it a great place for cyclists? What does she say? So we're going to listen to the track now, and then you're going to decide which is the correct answer for each question.
I'm going to stop at the historic city of Carcassonne. Carcassonne is a walled city, and it's famous for its cassoulet. I'm going to eat cassoulet for sure, but my friends told me that I won't want to eat anything the following day. After Carcassonne, I'm going to head towards Spain. To get to Spain, you have to cross the Pyrenees Mountains, so I'm going to take my time, nice and leisurely. From Carcassonne, I'm going to head to Foix. Then, I'm going to need a lot of energy to cycle to Puigcerdá. Puigcerdá is almost on the border.
Wow. What do we think? Did you get all the answers? Okay, the information came very close together. So, Carcassonne is a city what? She refers to it as a walled city, didn't she? So the answer is B. Carcassonne is a city with walls. The walls go on the outside of the city. And then straight away, she tells us about the famous food in Carcassonne. Did you get it? Yeah, it's D. It's cassoulet. Cassoulet. And then what does she say about crossing the Pyrenees, number 3? She talks about travelling at a leisurely pace. Leisurely pace. And what does that mean? Yeah, it means the same as relaxing pace. Okay, so the answer is B, 3B. She plans to cross the Pyrenees at a relaxing pace. You know, she's going to take her time. She's not going to rush to get there quickly. And what does she say about the town of Puigcerdá? She says, see, it's close to the border. It's close to the border. So again, well done if you got all those answers. No, we only listened to the tracks once. So that's a real test environment. No, Normally, you can listen to the tracks again and again. So very well done if you got all the answers correct. And one last little exercise for your listening skills. Ali's plans. We've got 3 pictures on the board. We're going 4 pictures, sorry. We're going to listen to the last part of her plan. This time, we're looking at what does she not talk about. Okay, we've got Girona, which is a town in Spain, obviously. We've got B, eating Spanish food. C, Barcelona, Spain. And D, taking the train. Okay, so she talks about 3 of those things and she doesn't talk about one of them. Which of those does she not talk about? Which do not form part of her plan? Let's listen, find out.
For the final day of cycling, I'm going to ride from Puigcerdà to Girona. My friends say it's not possible to cover this distance in one day, but I'm going to do it. Girona is a cultural city, so I'm going to spend a couple of days here. I'm not going to ride between Girona and Barcelona because the roads are very busy. I'm going to take my bike on the train to Barcelona.
There you go. So, which one does she not talk about? Yeah, she doesn't talk about B, does she? She doesn't talk about eating Spanish food. She mentions Girona. She tells us about the city. She tells us about going to Barcelona after she's been to Girona. And she talks about taking the train to Barcelona. So she's not going to go there. She's not going to ride there on her bike. She's going to take the train. Yeah. So she talks about A, C, and D, and she doesn't talk about B. Good. So what is your follow-up activity from this? In your groups and after this lesson, I want you to practice how you talk about a plan you have for your vacation. Okay? So you need to think about where you are going to go, how long are you going to stay there, how are you going to get there, when are you going to go, who are you going to go with, or who are you going to travel with, your friends, your family, who? And what activities are you going to do when you're there? Are you going to go hiking? Are you going to go swimming? Are you going to dive? Are you going to go shopping? Are you going to sightsee? So which activities are you going to do on your vacation? And there are the questions to think about when you're talking about your plans. Okay, the 4 questions. Are you going to do something interesting? Are you going to visit different places, or are you going to go to one place? Do you always go to the same place on vacation, or do you go to different places each time? And what transportation are you going to use? Are you going to fly there? Are you going to go by train? Are you going to drive in a car? Like the people in this listening, are you going to ride a bike during your vacation? So I want you to, as a follow-up from this, to think about your plan for your next vacation. And how would you describe it to someone? How will you describe it to your friend, the people that you're sat with? It's very important that you practice, so that the more you practice, the more fluent and the more accurate your language becomes. You've got lots of ideas from this lesson today to help you describe your future plans for your vacation. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I hope you found it useful. And I hope to see you again very soon. I hope to see you all again very, very soon. Ma salama. Dear Askarians, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Miss Donna. It was another impressive lesson today. So we have enjoyed a lot. So I have started thinking, where should I go for the vacations this summer? So thank you very much for your time. And let me share you once again, all of you, that if you want to practice more, you can go on the website of Learning English 365, and there you would find an app, and you can download that app. In that app we have 6,500 lectures to practice. So thank you very much for the students, the parents and the teachers who attended the lecture today. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Bye bye.